The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute professional financial aid, legal or career advice. Scholarship criteria, deadlines, and funding amounts are subject to change at the discretion of the awarding organizations. We are not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by any of the scholarship providers mentioned. While we strive for accuracy based on historical trends and publicly available data, individual results vary based on a multitude of factors including academic performance, extracurricular involvement, and financial need. Viewers are strongly encouraged to conduct their own due diligence, verify all information through official sources, and consult with a qualified high school counselor or financial aid officer before making any significant academic or financial decisions. Right now, there is a massive multi-billion-dollar lie being told to high school seniors across the United States. You have been told that the only way to afford a top-tier education is to sign away the next 20 years of your life to high-interest student loans. You have been told that unless you are a valedictorian with a perfect SAT score or a D1-bound athlete, the free money is out of your reach. That is fundamentally incorrect. In fact, every single year, millions of dollars in scholarship funding go completely unearned because students simply do not know they exist or assume they aren't qualified enough to apply. We are currently witnessing a shift where private organizations are desperate to fund the next generation of leaders, but they are looking for something far more specific than just a high GPA. If you are sitting there with a 3.0, or if you feel like your extracurriculars are average, you are likely overlooking a goldmine of opportunities that could potentially cover your entire tuition, housing, and even your study abroad programs. This video is not a surface-level list of popular scholarships you can find with a 5-second search. This is a comprehensive masterclass designed to deconstruct the scholarship ecosystem in the USA. By the time we finish this 10-part series, you will have a roadmap to the most prestigious, high-value, and even the hidden scholarships available today. We are going to solve the problem of tuition anxiety by providing you with the exact frameworks used by successful applicants to secure six-figure funding packages. We are moving beyond the basic application process and diving into the psychology of scholarship committees, the data behind winning essays, and the strategic timing of your submissions. To understand the scale of what we are dealing with, look at the historical trends of college pricing versus the availability of private aid. While the cost of attendance at public and private universities has outpaced inflation for decades, the pool of private scholarship money has expanded to meet specific niche needs. We are looking at a landscape where your identity, your specific hobbies, your geographic location, and even your intended career path are more valuable assets than a standardized test score. The problem is that most seniors approach this like a lottery. They spray and pray, sending out generic applications to the biggest names like Coca-Cola or Gates, and then give up when they don't see immediate results. That ends today. We are going to treat your scholarship search like a high-stakes professional campaign. Let's start with the foundational reality of the full ride versus the full tuition scholarship. Many students conflate these two, but the financial difference can be upwards of $80,000 over 4 years. A full tuition scholarship covers the cost of classes, but leaves you on the hook for room, board, books, and fees, which at a school like NYU or USC, can easily exceed $30,000 a year. A true full ride, like the ones we will be detailing in this series, covers every conceivable cost, often including a monthly stipend for living expenses. Case studies of past winners show that the differentiator isn't just talent, but the ability to demonstrate institutional fit. Consider the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation College Scholarship Program. This is one of the most lucrative scholarships in the country, intended for high-achieving seniors with financial need. Historically, scholars can receive up to $55,000 per year. But look closer at the data. They aren't just looking for smart kids. They are looking for persistence and service to others. If you spent your high school years working a part-time job to help your family while maintaining a B+ average, you might actually be a stronger candidate than a student with a 4.0 who had no external responsibilities. This is the kind of nuance we are going to explore. We will show you how to frame your life experiences as leadership, even if you never held a title like president of a club. Furthermore, we need to address the hidden layer of scholarship tiers. You have the mega-national scholarships, the regional powerhouses, and the hyperlocal grants. Most students ignore the local level, which is a critical mistake. If a local Rotary Club is offering a $5,000 scholarship and only 12 people apply, Your statistical probability of success is exponentially higher than when you apply for a national award with 50,000 applicants. We are going to show you how to build a stacked portfolio by combining 3 local scholarships, 2 regional grants, and 1 major national award. You can create a customized full-ride package that follows you to any university in the country. The data suggests that the early bird strategy is no longer just a suggestion. It is a requirement. Many of the most prestigious awards have deadlines as early as September or October of your senior year. If you wait until January to start your search, you have already missed out on approximately 60% of the available private funding. This masterclass is designed to get you ahead of those deadlines by providing the structural requirements for your scholarship resume and your core narrative before you even open an application portal. We are also going to debunk the myth of the perfect essay. Through analysis of winning submissions, we have found that the most successful essays are not those that list accomplishments, but those that provide a vulnerable pivot. This is a storytelling technique where you describe a specific challenge, the internal logic you use to navigate it, and how that shaped your current worldview. Scholarship committees are investing in human potential, not past performance. They want to see that you are a high-return investment. We will break down how to communicate your return on investment to a committee that might be looking at 10,000 other files. Throughout this series, we will examine the specific requirements for the Gates Scholarship, the ELC's Most Valuable Student Competition, the Equitable Excellence Scholarship, and many others. We will look at step-by-step details on how to secure letters of recommendation that actually move the needle. Most letters are positive but generic, which is a death sentence for an application. We will teach you how to manage up and provide your recommenders with bulleted talking points that align with the specific values of the scholarship you are targeting. This is not just about getting into college. It's about graduating debt-free so you have the freedom to choose your career based on passion rather than the need to service a monthly loan payment. The potential outcomes of applying the strategies in this masterclass are life-changing. We are talking about the difference between entering the workforce with a net worth of 0 versus entering with a $100,000 head start. We are going to dive deep into the specific dates, the specific portals, and the specific writing prompts that define the current scholarship landscape in the United States. We will also tackle the often overlooked niche and identity scholarships. There are massive funds dedicated specifically to students of certain ethnic backgrounds, religious affiliations, or even those who are the first in their family to attend college. For example, the Hispanic Scholarship Fund or the United Negro College Fund provide more than just money. They provide mentorship networks and internship pipelines that are often more valuable than the cash award itself. We will show you how to leverage your unique background as a competitive advantage. In the next sections, we will begin our countdown of the top 10 scholarship categories, starting with the prestige tier. These are the life changers. We will provide the exact criteria, the historical selection rates, and the specific hooks that the judges are looking for this year. If you are ready to stop worrying about how you will pay for school and start focusing on which school you will choose, then this masterclass is exactly where you need to be. Prepare to take notes because we are going into the granular details that most guidance counselors don't even have access to. Your journey to a debt-free degree starts right now. To understand where the real money is hiding, we have to look at the apex of the scholarship pyramid, the prestige tier. These are the awards that do not just provide a check, but offer a lifetime of brand association and networking that is arguably more valuable than the cash itself. Imagine if you are a student named Alex, living in a suburban town in Ohio in this current year of 2026. Alex has a solid 3.8 GPA, plays varsity soccer, and volunteers at a local animal shelter. Like most seniors, Alex looks at the Coca-Cola Scholars Program and thinks the odds are too steep. But historical trends show that the students who succeed in this tier are not necessarily the ones with the most awards, but those who understand the specific algorithmic filters these organizations use. Let us deconstruct the Coca-Cola Scholars Program, a $20,000 achievement-based scholarship. In 2026, the application window remains consistent with previous cycles, typically opening in August and closing at the end of September. The most critical detail students miss is Phase 1. This initial step requires no essays, no transcripts, and no letters of recommendation. It is a purely data-driven filtering process. If you do not know how to categorize your hours of service or your leadership roles within their specific online portal, you could be filtered out before a human being ever sees your name. For Alex, this means instead of just listing volunteer, he needs to quantify his impact. Did he manage other volunteers? Did he increase the shelter's adoption rate through a social media campaign? Data points like these are what the Coca-Cola system uses to move you into the semi-finalist round, which represents approximately the top 1% of the applicant pool. Once you reach the semi-finalist stage in October, the game changes entirely. This is where you are asked for essays and recommendations. Case studies of past winners indicate that the committee is looking for a very specific type of leader, what they call the Coke Scholar archetype. This is someone who doesn't just join clubs but builds sustainable systems. If Alex started a program that will continue after he graduates, that is a massive indicator of institutional fit. The step-by-step detail for this phase involves a high-stakes interview process in early 2026. You are not just answering questions. You are presenting a vision for how you will use your education to create a social return on investment. The potential outcomes for those who make it to the final 150 are staggering, including an all-expenses-paid trip to Atlanta for a leadership summit and access to an alumni network that includes some of the most influential CEOs and nonprofit leaders in the United States. Moving to the Cameron Impact Scholarship, we see a different set of strategic requirements. This is a full-tuition, merit-based award that covers the entire cost of attendance at any accredited four-year university in the USA. However, the Cameron Foundation has a rolling basis trap that catches thousands of students off guard every year. They explicitly state that they only accept the first 3,000 completed and eligible applications. In a year like 2026, where digital connectivity is at an all-time high, that cap can be reached months before the official May deadline. If Alex waits until his spring break to apply, the door might already be locked. The Cameron Impact Scholarship also has a strict unweighted GPA floor of 3.7 on a 4.0 scale. If your school uses a weighted system and you are sitting at a 4.2 but your unweighted is a 3.6, you are technically ineligible. This is where students need to be meticulous with their transcripts. The step-by-step strategy for the Cameron involves securing your 2 letters of recommendation by March at the latest. One of these must come from a school-affiliated person like a teacher or counselor, while the other should ideally come from someone who can speak to your community impact. The committee allocates 25% of these awards to students pursuing public service careers, such as education, government, or the military. If your goal is to serve the public good, your essay needs to pivot around that central theme from the very first sentence. Now, consider the Equitable Excellence Scholarship. This program is a masterclass in the pivot. In 2026, they are offering 100 renewable awards of $5,000 each, totaling $20,000 over 4 years. What makes Equitable unique is their focus on ambition and self-drive, specifically in the context of encouraging other students to pursue post-secondary education. The essay prompt asks how you, as a college graduate, plan to pay it forward. A common mistake students make here is being too vague. They say they want to help people. To win this, you need a granular plan. Imagine Alex writing about how he plans to return to his high school as a mentor to establish a scholarship fund for future soccer players who also want to study veterinary medicine. This level of specificity shows the committee that Alex has considered the long-term impact of his degree. Furthermore, Equitable rewards the educators behind the students. Each recipient's chosen teacher receives a $500 gift card for classroom supplies. When you are asking a teacher for a recommendation for this specific scholarship, you should mention this. It creates a collaborative environment where the teacher is even more invested in the quality of the letter they write for you. To be successful in this prestige tier, you must build what we call a master scholarship file. This is a living document that contains every piece of data you might need: your unweighted and weighted GPA, your highest SAT or ACT scores, a comprehensive list of every volunteer hour, and a narrative bank. This bank should include 5 different versions of your personal story, ranging from a 100-word blurb to a 1,000-word deep dive. This allows you to adapt to different application portals quickly. In 2026, speed is a competitive advantage. When a new opportunity like the Equitable Excellence opens, Alex shouldn't be starting from scratch. He should be remixing his existing high-quality content. We also have to discuss the identity and niche overlap within these prestige awards. Organizations like the Hispanic Scholarship Fund or the United Negro College Fund operate with similar levels of prestige and funding, but have specific eligibility requirements. For these, the strategy involves demonstrated interest. If you are applying for a niche prestige award, you should be engaging with their webinars and local events months before the application opens. Historical trends show that students who are known to the organization often have a more polished understanding of the committee's internal values. Let us look at the data regarding selection bias in these major programs. Many students worry that if they aren't from a major city like New York or Los Angeles, they don't stand a chance. The reality is often the opposite. These foundations strive for geographic diversity. If Alex is from a rural town in Ohio, his application might actually carry more weight because he represents a demographic that the foundation wants to include in its cohort. The key is to highlight your environment. Do not try to sound like a student from a private prep school if you are from a public vocational school. Authenticity is the currency of the 2026 scholarship cycle. As we move forward, the most important thing to remember is that these big brand scholarships are looking for force multipliers. They want to give money to the student who will take that $20,000 and turn it into $100,000 of value for their community. Every word of your application must scream that you are a high-yield asset. But what happens if you don't have the 3.7 GPA for the Cameron? What if you miss the early deadline for Coca-Cola? The prestige tier is only the beginning of the ecosystem. There is an entire world of under-the-radar funding that rewards things you would never expect, from your creative hobbies to the specific industry your parents work in. Some of these awards have 0 GPA requirements and 0 essay requirements, yet they offer 5-figure payouts. In the next part, we are going to expose the no-essay scholarship industry, revealing which ones are legitimate and which ones are just data harvesting traps. We will show you exactly how to find the high-value awards that your competition is too lazy to look for. This video on the ultimate scholarship strategy for high schoolers is a great resource because it breaks down the exact timeline and organizational steps needed to manage multiple high-stakes applications simultaneously. The world of no-essay scholarships is often viewed with extreme skepticism, and for good reason. In this current year of 2026, the internet is saturated with data harvesting sites masquerading as financial aid opportunities. However, if you know how to navigate this landscape, there is a legitimate secondary market of funding that requires almost zero writing but a high degree of strategic participation. We are talking about sweepstakes-style awards, monthly drawings, and niche skill-based contests that can provide the supplemental cash needed to cover books, tech fees, or meal plans. Imagine a student named Chloe from Miami. Chloe is a high-achieving senior, but between her AP exams and her part-time job, she is suffering from major essay fatigue. She looks at the standard 500-word prompts and just cannot bring herself to write one more story about her personal growth. This is where the strategic use of no-essay scholarships comes into play. These are not meant to be your primary source of funding, but rather a passive income stream for your college fund. First, we must address the elephant in the room, the data mining trap. Many sites like Niche or Scholarship Points offer easy entry, but the trade-off is often your personal data. In 2026, your digital footprint is a commodity. When you sign up for these, you are often opting into marketing lists. The professional strategy here is to create a dedicated scholarship email address. Chloe doesn't use her primary personal email. She uses something like chloescholarship2026@gmail.com. This keeps her main inbox clean and allows her to track scholarship-related correspondence in one place. Historical trends show that students who use a dedicated email are 40% more likely to actually see and respond to U1 notifications that would otherwise get lost in a spam folder. Let's look at a legitimate case study. The Be Bold No Essay Scholarship. This is a monthly award that is frequently listed on platforms like bold.org. Unlike a lottery, this specific award is described as a social scholarship. The criteria are not based on an essay but on the boldness of your profile. In this context, boldness is measured by the completeness of your digital portfolio, your GPA, your extracurriculars, and your verified community service. The platform uses an algorithm to determine who is the most active and engaged student. For Chloe, the step-by-step detail involves spending 20 minutes once a week optimizing her profile. She adds a new volunteer project she did over the weekend, updates her latest test scores, and follows other students on the platform. This activity signals to the algorithm that she is a high-value user, increasing her potential outcomes for the monthly drawing. Then there are the creative-based, non-traditional scholarships that replace the essay with a different medium. One of the most famous examples is the Duck Brand Stuck at Prom Scholarship. This is a high-stakes creative contest where students must create a prom outfit entirely out of duct tape. We are talking about awards that have historically reached $10,000. For a student like Chloe, who might be more artistically inclined than a writer, this is a massive opportunity. The data shows that the level of competition for these creative awards is significantly lower than for the Coca-Cola or Gates scholarships because the barrier to entry is physical effort rather than just typing a few paragraphs. Chloe would need to document her process, track her hours, and submit high-quality photography of her work. This isn't easy money, but it is essay-free money. Another high-value, no-essay category is the Niche Skills Scholarship. Think about the American Fire Sprinkler Association Scholarship Program. Every year, they offer multiple awards simply for reading a short text about fire safety and then taking a 10-question multiple-choice quiz. Each correct answer equals 1 entry into a drawing. It is educational, it takes less than 15 minutes, and it has a high historical payout rate for the time invested. The key for Chloe is to treat these like a professional workflow. She should have a sprint day, once a month, where she enters 10 to 15 of these low barrier to entry scholarships. We also need to look at the corporate sweepstakes tier. Brands like T-Mobile, Dr. Pepper, and various insurance companies often run tuition giveaway campaigns. The Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway is a prime example of a high-stakes, high-reward scenario that requires a video submission rather than an essay. In 2026, video storytelling is the dominant form of communication. For this, Chloe would need to record a 60-second video explaining why she needs the tuition money and how she will change the world. The step-by-step detail here involves hooking the corporate judges in the first 5 seconds. Case studies of past winners show that they don't just ask for money, they demonstrate a specific problem they are solving in their community. Whether it's environmental advocacy or starting a coding club for middle schoolers, the video must be high energy and visually engaging. But let's talk about the danger of scholarship scams, which are more sophisticated in 2026 than ever before. If a scholarship asks for an application fee, it is almost certainly a scam. If they guarantee you will win, it is a scam. If they ask for your social security number or credit card information up front, exit the site immediately. Legitimate scholarships, even the no-essay ones, make their money through corporate sponsorships or endowments, not by charging the students they are trying to help. Chloe needs to look for the trust signals. Is there a physical address listed? Is there a history of past winners that you can verify on LinkedIn or social media? If the past winners section is empty or looks like stock photos, that is a massive red flag. A major strategic advantage in the no-essay world is the micro-scholarship. Platforms like RaiseMe allow students to earn money for college starting as early as 9th grade. You earn microgrants for every A you get in a class, every sports team you join, and even for visiting a college campus. By the time Chloe reaches her senior year in 2026, she could have banked several $1,000s in micro-scholarships from specific partner universities. The potential outcome here is a guaranteed discount on her tuition if she chooses to attend one of those specific schools. This is the ultimate no-essay play because you are simply being rewarded for the things you are already doing in high school. The step-by-step details for maximizing RaiseMe involve logging in every time a report card is issued and every time you complete a volunteer event. If Chloe waits until senior year to start her RaiseMe profile, she can still backdate her accomplishments, but she might miss out on limited time boosts offered by certain colleges. This is why we call it a masterclass. It's about the long game. You are building a financial portfolio brick by brick. As we move deeper into this scholarship ecosystem, you have to realize that no essay doesn't mean no work. It means strategic work. It means being organized, being skeptical of scams, and being consistent with your entries. But even with all these no essay wins, there is one category of scholarships that remains the holy grail for middle-class families in the USA. These are the awards that bridge the gap between too rich for financial aid and too poor to pay out of pocket. What if your family makes a decent income, but after taxes and mortgage payments, there is nothing left for a $70,000 a year tuition bill? This is where the merit-based institutional scholarships come in. These are the awards given directly by the colleges themselves, and they are often the largest checks you will ever receive. In the next part, we are going to dive into the scholarship matrix of the top 50 U.S. universities. We will reveal which schools are merit-generous and which ones are merit-stingy. We will show you how to use a high SAT score or a unique talent to negotiate your financial aid package, potentially saving your family hundreds of thousands of dollars. You do not want to miss the secrets of the financial aid appeal process, which we will break down step by step. The gap between the sticker price and the net price is where the real game is played. We are going to show you exactly how to win it. Institutional merit scholarships are the absolute heavyweights of the financial aid world. While private awards like Coca-Cola are prestigious, they are often one-time or capped payments. Institutional scholarships, however, come directly from the university's multi-billion-dollar endowment. In this current year of 2026, these are the awards that can slash $60,000 off a sticker price annually for 4 consecutive years. To win this game, you must understand the distinction between merit-generous and merit-stingy institutions. Let us look at the historical trends of the Ivy League versus high-ranking private and public universities. If you are applying to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, you need to understand that these schools are technically merit-stingy. They do not offer a single cent based on your high SAT score or your perfect GPA. Their model is strictly need-based. While they are incredibly generous to families earning under $150,000, a middle-class family earning $250,000 might receive zero aid despite the student's elite credentials. For that family, the sticker price of nearly $90,000 in 2026 is a reality. In contrast, look at merit-generous powerhouses like the University of Tulsa or Bridgewater College. Data from 2026 indicates that the average grant or scholarship aid at these institutions can exceed $50,000 per year. They are specifically hunting for high-achieving students to boost their institutional rankings. If you have the credentials to get into an Ivy League school but apply to a merit-generous university, you are no longer just an applicant, you are a commodity. You have the leverage to receive what is essentially a full tuition discount. Imagine a student named Marcus from Atlanta in 2026. Marcus has a 1450 SAT and a 3.9 unweighted GPA. He is a strong candidate but not quite at the level of a national merit finalist. If Marcus only applies to top-tier schools that focus on need-based aid, his parents might be looking at a massive financial burden. However, Marcus utilizes the scholarship matrix. This is a strategy where you target schools that offer automatic merit awards based on specific data points. Schools like the University of Tennessee Knoxville or the University of Missouri have transparent scholarship tiers. For example, at UT Knoxville, out-of-state students with a 1300+ SAT and a high GPA can automatically see potential outcomes of $18,000 per year in merit aid before they even submit an essay. At Missouri, higher-scoring students can see awards ranging up to full tuition and fees. For Marcus, this means that even if he doesn't get a prestigious private scholarship, his baseline cost for college is already cut by 50%. This is the importance of the safety school strategy. Your safety school shouldn't just be a place you can get into. It should be a place where you are in the top 5% of the applicant pool, making you eligible for their highest institutional honors. Now, let's get into the most powerful tool in your arsenal for 2026: the financial aid appeal and negotiation. Most families receive their financial aid award letter and assume the number is final. It is not. In the professional world of university admissions, this is known as a professional judgment review. There are 2 primary ways to play this: the hardship appeal and the competitive negotiation. Case study: Marcus receives his package from his top choice school, a private university in the Northeast. They offer him $10,000 in merit aid, but the remaining cost is still $40,000 a year, too much for his family. Marcus doesn't just give up. He initiates a hardship appeal. In 2026, many families are facing shifting economic realities. Marcus's father had a significant reduction in overtime pay that isn't reflected on the FAFSA data from 2 years ago. The step-by-step detail of the hardship appeal involves a formal letter. Marcus doesn't ask for more money. He provides a detailed financial statement. He includes pay stubs, tax documents showing the income drop, and a concise narrative explaining the specific barrier to attendance. He remains polite and professional, emphasizing that the university is his #1 choice. Historical trends show that when a student provides documented proof of a change in circumstances, financial aid officers are significantly more likely to dip into their discretionary funds to bridge the gap. But what if your income hasn't changed? This is where the competitive negotiation comes in. This is a high-stakes strategy that requires you to have multiple offers on the table. Imagine Marcus also got accepted to a similar ranking university that offered him $25,000 in merit aid. Marcus can take that award letter and send a professional email to his top choice school. The strategy here is not a demand. It is a request for a match. The letter should read, "I am incredibly honored to be admitted to your institution. It remains my top choice due to your exceptional engineering program. However, I have received a significantly more competitive offer from another institution of similar caliber. While I would prefer to attend your university, the financial difference of $15,000 makes it a difficult decision for my family. Is there any flexibility in my merit award that would allow me to make your university my home this fall? Data from 2026 admission cycles shows that mid-tier private colleges are increasingly willing to negotiate to meet their enrollment targets. They would rather give Marcus an extra $5,000 than lose him to a competitor. You are essentially creating a bidding war for your talent. The key is to negotiate with schools in the same tier. You cannot use an offer from a local community college to negotiate with a top 50 research university. They must be peer institutions. Step by step, the appeal process for 2026 follows this workflow. First, call the financial aid office to ask for the name of the officer assigned to your region. Personalized communication is always more effective than a generic help desk ticket. Second, gather your proof. Whether it is a competing award letter or a medical bill, you need evidence. Third, write the letter using a professional tone. No emotional pleading, just facts and institutional love. Fourth, follow up. If you haven't heard back in 10 days, a polite phone call can ensure your file hasn't been buried in the spring rush. The potential outcomes of a successful appeal can be the difference between taking out a private student loan at 8% interest or graduating with a clean slate. We have seen cases where a single well-written email resulted in an additional $20,000 over 4 years. That is $5,000 for a 30-minute email. That is the highest hourly rate you will ever earn in your life. But institutional merit is only one side of the coin. What if your GPA is average, but you have a specialized talent or you are entering a specific field of study? Universities have departmental scholarships that are entirely separate from the general admissions office. These are the hidden gems where the dean of the music school or the head of the nursing department has their own bucket of money to give away. In the next part, we are going to dive into the world of departmental and niche talent scholarships. We will show you how to bypass the general application and get your name in front of the people who actually control the departmental budgets. We will also break down the reality of athletic scholarships. It's not just for football and basketball. There is scholarship money for everything from esports to rowing. And we will show you how to get recruited for your wallet, not just your win-loss record. The strategy for getting the Dean's Award is completely different from everything we've discussed so far. And it is time you learned it. The specialized funding pools are waiting. Are you ready to dive in? To understand the power of departmental and niche talent scholarships in 2026, you have to stop thinking of a university as a single entity and start viewing it as a collection of small businesses. Each department, whether it is the School of Nursing, the College of Engineering, or the Department of Music, often has its own independent endowment. These funds are frequently controlled by deans and department heads, rather than the general admissions office. This creates a secondary market of funding where the selection criteria are hyper-specific to your major or your unique skill set. Imagine a student named Sarah from Seattle in this year of 2026. Sarah has a 3.4 GPA, which is solid but not high enough to trigger the automatic merit awards at her dream school, a large state university. However, Sarah is an exceptional oboe player and has spent 4 years in her high school's robotics club. If Sarah only applies through the general portal, she is just another number in the middle of the pack. But by targeting departmental scholarships, she changes the math of her entire college education. The first pillar of this strategy is the Departmental Talent Award. Universities are constantly looking to balance their ensembles, teams, and academic cohorts. If the university orchestra is losing its only 3 seniors who play the oboe, the music department head is suddenly highly motivated to find a replacement. In 2026, this search often bypasses the standard financial aid office. Sarah's step-by-step detail for this involves a 3-pronged approach. First, she identifies the specific faculty member in charge of her instrument. Second, she submits a portfolio or audition tape directly to the department by their specific, often earlier deadline. Third, she follows up with a professional email expressing her commitment to contributing to the campus culture. Historical trends show that departmental awards can range from $2,000 to $15,000 per year, and because the applicant pool is limited to a specific talent, the odds of success are significantly higher than national sweepstakes. Now consider the STEM and engineering niche. For Sarah, her robotics experience is a goldmine. Many tech-heavy universities offer scholarships specifically for students who participated in FIRST robotics or VX competitions. These are not just for the lead engineers, they are for the strategists, the programmers, and the project managers. In 2026, many of these awards require a separate application that includes a project portfolio. Sarah needs to document her code, her design iterations, and the specific outcomes of her competitions. The data suggests that students who provide a technical portfolio are viewed as lower-risk investments by departmental heads, as they have already demonstrated the ability to handle university-level project work. Then we have the burgeoning world of esports scholarships. In 2026, the collegiate gaming scene has matured into a massive recruitment engine. If you are a high-ranking player in titles like League of Legends, Valorant, or Rocket League, you are essentially a student athlete. Universities are building multi-million-dollar gaming arenas and are desperate for talent to represent them in national tournaments. Case studies of esports recruits show that many receive partial or even full tuition scholarships. The step-by-step strategy here involves creating a recruitment profile on platforms like Stay Plugged In or NCS. You need to treat this like a professional athletic recruitment process. Highlight reels, rank verification, and communication with collegiate coaches. Sarah might not be a gamer, but for the student who is, this is a legitimate pathway to a funded degree that didn't even exist a decade ago. Let us look at the specialized field of service-to-career scholarships, such as the Teach Grant or the Nursing Student Loan Repayment Programs. These are technically federal or state-level niche awards, but they are often administered through the university's specific departments. If you commit to teaching in a high-need field or a low-income area for a set number of years, the potential outcomes include thousands of dollars in annual funding. The step-by-step detail for Sarah, if she were a nursing major, would involve meeting with the Department of Health Sciences to discuss work for scholarship contracts. These are highly structured agreements. You must maintain a specific GPA and fulfill your service obligation after graduation, or the grant might convert into a loan. It is a high-responsibility path, but for many students in 2026, it is the most reliable way to ensure a debt-free transition into a guaranteed career path. The secret to winning these departmental awards is the concept of Demonstrated Interest 2.0. This isn't just about clicking links in an email, it is about human connection. Sarah should attend the department's specific open house. She should ask questions about research opportunities for undergraduates. When a department head sees a face and a name attached to a specific passion, they are more likely to allocate discretionary funds. These funds are often called Dean's Awards or departmental merit. They are used to close the deal on a student the department really wants. We must also discuss the legacy and labor niche. Does your parent work for a specific company? Are you a member of a specific union? In 2026, corporate scholarships for children of employees are a major underutilized resource. Companies like Walmart, Starbucks, and even local grocery chains offer scholarship programs that are often only open to the families of their workforce. The competition is incredibly low because many employees don't even realize the benefit exists. Sarah's step-by-step detail involves a benefits audit. She needs to sit down with her parents and look through their employee handbooks. If her father works for a logistics company, there might be a $3,000 award waiting just for her. The data on niche scholarships shows a fascinating trend. The more specific the criteria, the higher the win rate. There are scholarships for left-handed students, for students of specific heights, and for those who are descendants of specific historical groups. While these sound like gimmicks, they are real endowments left by donors with very specific wishes. The strategy is to use a Boolean search method. Sarah should search for Scholarship Plus. If she is a first-generation college student who also plays the oboe and is interested in environmental law, she should be searching for that specific intersection. As we analyze these specialized pools, it becomes clear that the generalist is at a disadvantage. To win in 2026, you must be a specialist. You must brand yourself. Sarah isn't just a high school senior. She is a future biomedical engineer with a passion for classical music and community robotics. That brand is what earns the departmental checks. But what if you don't have a specific talent or a niche background? What if you are the all-around student who is good at everything but a master of nothing? There is still a massive category of funding designed exactly for you, but it requires a different kind of bravery. We are talking about the community impact and social justice scholarships. These awards don't care about your oboe skills or your gaming rank. They care about your ability to identify a problem in your city and solve it. In the next part, we are going to dive into the impact scholarships. We will break down the exact framework for the social change project, that wins over committees like the Prudential Spirit of Community or the T-Mobile Changemaker Challenge. We will show you how to start a movement from your bedroom that can fund your entire freshman year. This is the strategy for the student who wants to lead, and the data shows that 2026 is the year of the student entrepreneur. We will show you how to turn your volunteer hours into a venture that scholarship donors can't wait to fund. The shift from applying for scholarships to attracting scholarships starts here. Are you ready to become the candidate they chase? The transition from being a student who begs for funding to being a leader who attracts investment is the single most powerful shift you can make in your senior year of 2026. This brings us to the Impact and Social Change Scholarships. These awards are fundamentally different from everything we have discussed because they do not care about your test scores as much as they care about your capacity to execute a project. Organizations like the Prudential Spirit of Community Awards or the T-Mobile Changemaker Challenge are looking for the next generation of social entrepreneurs. They want to see that you have identified a specific pain point in your community and built a scalable solution. Imagine a student named Jordan from a mid-sized city in Arizona in 2026. Jordan has a 3.2 GPA. He is not the captain of the football team or the valedictorian. However, Jordan noticed that many of his elderly neighbors were struggling to use modern digital health portals to schedule their appointments. Instead of just logging community service hours at a hospital, Jordan started a project called Silver Tech. He recruited 5 other students, created a basic curriculum for teaching digital literacy to seniors, and partnered with the local library to host weekly workshops. In the eyes of a scholarship committee, Jordan is now a high-value asset. He is a founder. He has managed a team, secured a partnership, and generated a measurable social outcome. For Jordan, the step-by-step strategy to turn this into scholarship funding involves the Impact Portfolio. This is a digital document that provides evidence of his work, photos of the workshops, a simple spreadsheet showing how many seniors were helped, and testimonial letters from the library director. In 2026, the data indicates that students who provide quantitative evidence of their impact are 5 times more likely to win leadership-based awards than those who simply write about their feelings regarding service. Let us look at a major case study, the Gloria Barron Prize for Young Heroes. This award honors 25 outstanding young leaders each year who have made a significant positive impact on people, their communities, and the environment. The winners receive a $5,000 scholarship. But look at the historical trends of the winners. They aren't just doing good deeds, they are solving problems. One past winner created a recycling program for plastic bags in her city. Another developed a low-cost water filtration system for a rural community. For Jordan and his Silver Tech project, the Barron Prize application is the perfect fit. The step-by-step detail here involves documenting the sustainability of the project. The committee wants to know: if Jordan goes to college, does Silver Tech die? Or has he built a system that survives without him? This is the difference between a volunteer and a leader. Another massive opportunity in 2026 is the T-Mobile Changemaker Challenge. This is more of an incubator than a traditional scholarship. They look for students between the ages of 13 and 18 with big ideas for social change. If Jordan's project is selected, the potential outcomes include seed funding for his project, an all-expenses-paid trip to T-Mobile headquarters for a lab intensive, and personal mentorship from corporate executives. The scholarship component often comes as a direct grant to the student to support their continued education in fields related to their project. The strategy for winning a Changemaker Award is focused on the venture pitch. You aren't writing an essay. You are writing a business plan for a nonprofit. You must explain your theory of change, how your specific actions lead to the desired social outcome. We also need to discuss the Equitable Excellence Scholarship in the context of community impact. While we mentioned this earlier for its prestige, its social impact track is specifically designed for students like Jordan who have shown ambition and self-drive in their communities. In 2026, they are prioritizing projects that address local economic disparities or educational access. If Jordan can show that Silver Tech helped seniors access low-cost prescriptions more efficiently, he has hit a major metric that Equitable values. The step-by-step detail for this application involves scaling the story. Jordan should explain how Silver Tech started with 1 person at 1 library and grew to 5 volunteers at 3 locations. Growth data is the most compelling narrative you can provide. Now, consider the Prudential Spirit of Community Awards. This is one of the largest youth recognition programs in the United States. To win at the state or national level, Your project needs to be systemic. A systemic project doesn't just treat a symptom, it looks at the cause. Jordan's Silver Tech is systemic because it addresses the digital divide that prevents a specific demographic from accessing services. If Jordan wants to win the $10,000 national award in 2026, he needs a letter of recommendation from a key stakeholder, perhaps the mayor of his city or the head of a regional health network. This provides external validation that his impact is recognized by the establishment. The potential outcomes for students who master this impact strategy are not limited to cash awards. In 2026, many universities have social innovation scholarships that are only available to incoming freshmen who have already started a venture. Schools like Tulane University, the University of California, Berkeley, and many others have dedicated funding pools for changemakers. For Jordan, having Silver Tech on his resume could lead to a full-ride leadership fellowship, where he is given a stipend to continue his project on the university campus. Step by step, how do you start an impact project in 2026 if you don't have one yet? First, identify a micro-problem in your zip code. Don't try to solve world hunger. Try to solve the lack of fresh produce at the local food pantry. Second, create a minimum viable project. What is the smallest version of your solution you can execute this weekend? Third, document everything. Take photos, record a short video, and keep a log of every hour you spend. Fourth, apply for seed grants. Organizations like Peace First offer mini grants of $250 to help you get your project off the ground. These mini grants are the proof of concept that you can then use to win the 5-figure scholarships later in your senior year. Historical trends show that the most successful scholarship applicants in the USA are those who stack their identity. Jordan isn't just an Arizona student. He is a tech literacy advocate for the elderly. By the time he is applying for scholarships in late 2026, he has a brand. He has a digital footprint that shows him featured in the local news or on the library's website. When a scholarship committee Googles him, and in 2026 they will Google you, they don't find a TikTok of him doing a dance, they find a news story about Silver Tech. This is reputation management as a financial aid strategy. But what if your passion isn't social change? What if you are a student who is incredibly hardworking but your contribution is more traditional, like working 30 hours a week to support your siblings, or excelling in a vocational trade like welding or automotive technology? There is a massive multi-million-dollar world of vocational and work ethic scholarships that actually penalize students with 4.0 GPAs. These organizations believe that the standard student is already well-funded, and they want to help the gritty student. In the next part, we are going to dive into the blue-collar and vocational goldmine. We will look at the Mike Rowe Works Foundation, the Horatio Alger Association, and the specific trade scholarships that are currently desperate for applicants. In 2026, the shortage of skilled trades is at an all-time high, and the funding is following the demand. We will show you how to win a work ethics scholarship, and why being a B student with a job might be your biggest financial advantage. The money is there for the builders, the fixers, and the workers. Are you ready to show them your grit? The blue-collar and vocational goldmine is the most overlooked sector of financial aid in the United States today. In 2026, the demand for skilled trades has reached a critical fever pitch, and the scholarship landscape has shifted to reflect this reality. While millions of students compete for the same 5 humanities scholarships, thousands of trade-specific grants go completely unclaimed. If you are a student who values tangible results over theoretical research, or if you have spent your high school years balancing a job alongside your studies, your grit is now your most valuable currency. Imagine a student named Tyler from a small industrial town in Pennsylvania in this year of 2026. Tyler is a B student. He is not a member of the National Honor Society, and his SAT scores are strictly average. However, Tyler has spent every summer since he was 16 working at a local HVAC repair shop. He knows how to weld, he understands the basics of electrical circuitry, and he has a work ethic that far surpasses many of his straight-A peers. For Tyler, the path to a debt-free education does not lead through the Ivy League. It leads through the Mike Rowe Works Foundation. The Mike Rowe Works Foundation offers the Work Ethics Scholarship Program, and it is fundamentally different from any other award we have discussed. In 2026, this program does not care about your GPA, your extracurriculars, or your athletic ability. It cares about your attitude. To even apply, Tyler must sign the SWT Pledge, which stands for Skills and Work Ethic Aren't Taboo. This is a series of 13 deeply philosophical statements about the value of hard work, personal responsibility, and the refusal to complain. The step-by-step detail for Tyler to secure this funding involves a high-stakes video submission. He cannot just talk about wanting money. He must demonstrate his willingness to work. Historical trends show that the foundation prioritizes applicants who show themselves in their work environment, wearing their work boots, holding a wrench, or standing in a shop. Tyler needs to articulate why he chose the trades and how he plans to contribute to the American infrastructure. The potential outcomes for winners include significant grants that cover the entire cost of a vocational or technical program, often ranging from $5,000 to $15,000. For a 2-year trade school, this effectively creates a full-ride scenario. Then we have the Horatio Alger Association of Distinguished Americans. This is one of the nation's largest need-based scholarship providers, but it specifically targets students who have faced and overcome great adversity. In 2026, their targeted speech and vocational scholarship is a massive opportunity for students like Tyler. The association provides awards specifically for students pursuing career and technical education. The strategy for the Horatio Alger Scholarship is all about the narrative of resilience. Unlike merit scholarships that want to hear about your successes, this committee wants to hear about your struggles. Did you have to work 30 hours a week to help pay for your family's groceries? Did you deal with housing instability while still making it to your shop classes? For Tyler, the step-by-step detail involves a deep dive into his personal history. He needs to show that he didn't just survive his challenges. He used them as fuel to develop a professional mindset. The data from past Horatio Alger scholars shows that the committee looks for a trajectory of improvement. If your grades were low in freshman year but went up in junior year because you found your passion in automotive tech, that is a winning story. Beyond these major national names, the 2026 vocational landscape is filled with industry-specific funding. Organizations like the American Welding Society, the National Housing Endowment, and the Nexstar Network offer thousands of dollars to students entering plumbing, HVAC, or electrical trades. For Tyler, the strategy here is professional alignment. He should join the student chapter of these organizations while still in high school. Membership often costs very little for students but grants access to member-only scholarship portals. Let's look at a case study of the Plumbing Heating Cooling Contractors National Association Scholarship. They offer awards to students enrolled in a plumbing or VACR apprentice program. The step-by-step requirement includes a recommendation from a current PHCC member. This is why Tyler's summer job is so critical. If his boss is a member, that letter of recommendation acts as a golden ticket. It proves to the committee that Tyler is already vetted by a professional in the field. This is social proof as a financial strategy. We also have to discuss the work-study pipeline in the trades. In 2026, many major corporations like Caterpillar, John Deere, and even automotive giants like Ford and GM are offering scholarship to employment packages. They pay for your technical certification and provide a stipend in exchange for a commitment to work for them for a specified period after graduation. This is a high-yield potential outcome because it solves two problems at once. It pays for your education and secures your career. The data suggests that a student entering a trade in 2026 can actually reach a positive net worth faster than a student attending a traditional 4-year liberal arts college. While the college student is accumulating debt, the trade student is earning an apprentice wage while their tuition is covered by scholarships. By the time the college student graduates with $60,000 in debt, Tyler could be a licensed journeyman with no debt and $30,000 in savings. This is the wealth gap that most guidance counselors never mention. But how do you find these awards if you aren't already working in a shop? The step-by-step search strategy for 2026 involves the trade portal method. You should not be searching on Google. You should be searching on the websites of the accrediting commissions for your chosen field. If you want to be a pilot, you look at the FAA-approved school lists and the associated foundations. If you want to be a chef, you look at the American Culinary Federation. These organizations exist to sustain their industries, and they have the funds to make it happen. Another overlooked resource is the Retailer and Toolmaker Scholarships. Companies like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Snap-on Tools have historical trends of supporting the next generation of tradespeople. In 2026, Snap-on offers an education program that includes not just tuition assistance, but also deep discounts on the professional grade tools you need to start your career. A set of professional tools can cost $5,000 on its own. Getting those for free or at a discount is a scholarship in itself. Tyler's journey shows us that being a B student isn't a limitation. It's a pivot point. If you have the grit and grease to work while others are sleeping, the 2026 economy is ready to reward you. The Work Ethic Scholarship is the ultimate equalizer for the student who has more do than study. However, there is one more category of scholarships that is even more secretive than the trade awards. These are the scholarships based on financial engineering. There are ways to structure your college search so that you qualify for automatic funding based on the specific zip code you live in, the specific state you move to, or even the specific bank your parents use. We are talking about the regional and geographic arbitrage strategy. In the next part, we are going to reveal how moving across a state line can save you $200,000. We will look at the Western Undergraduate Exchange, the Southern Regional Education Board programs, and the specific state-sponsored full rides that are hiding in plain sight. If you live in the right place, or are willing to move to the right place, college could be free before you even write a single essay. Do you know the geographic secrets of the U.S. education system? You're about to. If you are a student or a parent who feels trapped by the high cost of out-of-state tuition, you are likely overlooking a strategy that professional college consultants call geographic arbitrage. In this current year of 2026, the lines on a map are not just boundaries. They are financial levers that can swing the cost of your education by hundreds of thousands of dollars. We are going to deconstruct the 3 major regional reciprocity compacts in the USA, and the specific state-sponsored full rides that are so powerful they make private scholarships look like pocket change. Imagine a student named Sophia from a high-tax, high-cost area in California. Sophia has a 3.6 GPA and wants to study marine biology. She looks at the University of Hawaii or the University of Oregon and sees out-of-state sticker prices exceeding $40,000. Sophia assumes she is stuck with a massive loan or staying at her local commuter college. But Sophia utilizes the Western Undergraduate Exchange, commonly known as WUE. The Western Undergraduate Exchange is a program of the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education. In 2026, it includes 15 states and 3 U.S. territories, ranging from Alaska to Wyoming. The core mechanism is simple but profound. Participating public colleges agree to charge out-of-state students no more than 150% of the institution's in-state tuition rate. For Sophia, this means instead of paying the $40,000 non-resident rate, she pays a discounted rate that often rivals or even beats the cost of staying in California. The step-by-step detail for the WE strategy involves the 150% rule. Historical trends show that students often forget that WE is not a separate application for every school. At many institutions, you simply check a box on your general application. However, in 2026, many popular schools have added WE Plus requirements. For example, at Boise State or Northern Arizona University, the WUE rate is often reserved for students who meet a specific GPA or test score threshold. Sophia needs to search the WUE Savings Finder on the Which website to see which majors at which schools are eligible. Not every major is included. Some universities exclude high-demand fields like nursing or engineering from the discount. Sophia's potential outcomes involve saving over $20,000 per year simply by choosing a school that participates in this specific geographic compact. Now, let's pivot to the South and the academic common market administered by the Southern Regional Education Board. This is the ultimate niche major loophole. If you live in a state like South Carolina and you want to study a specific major that is not offered at any public university in your home state, such as aerospace engineering or professional flight, you can attend a university in one of the other 14 participating SREB states and pay the in-state tuition rate. This isn't just a discount, it is a full in-state rate swap. Case study. A student from Maryland wants to study specialized forensics in West Virginia. Because Maryland doesn't offer that exact degree at a public institution, that student can save $30,000 a year. The step-by-step detail here involves the state coordinator. You must first get accepted to the out-of-state university. Then you must apply to your home state's SRB coordinator for certification of residency and major eligibility. In 2026, this process is digital but rigorous. You must prove you are a legal resident and that your chosen program is officially listed in the Academic Common Market Inventory. This is the most effective way to attend a prestigious out-of-state powerhouse like the University of Georgia or Texas A&M at a fraction of the cost. But what if you aren't looking to leave your state? What if you live in one of the scholarship powerhouse states? We have to talk about Georgia and Florida, which set the national gold standard for state-sponsored merit aid. In 2026, Georgia's Zell Miller Scholarship is the crown jewel. If you are a Georgia resident with a 3.7 Hope GPA and a 1200 SAT or 26 ACT, the state pays 100% of your tuition at any public university in Georgia. For a student in 2026, the data shows that the Zell Miller Scholarship is effectively a guaranteed full tuition ride for any student who meets the academic benchmark. The potential outcomes are even better for those attending private colleges in Georgia, where they can receive a significant tuition equalization grant. The strategy for Georgia students is to focus on the checkpoints. The state checks your GPA every 30, 60, and 90 credit hours. If your GPA dips below a 3.3, you lose the Zell Miller. You can regain it only once. This means your senior year slide can't happen. You have to maintain the momentum to keep the funding throughout your 4-year degree. Then we have Florida's Bright Futures program. In 2026, this program offers 2 main tiers: the Florida Academic Scholars and the Florida Medallion Scholars. To reach the top tier, which covers 100% of tuition and fees at a public Florida university, you need a 3.5 weighted GPA, 100 hours of volunteer service or paid work, and a 1330 SAT. A critical detail for 2026 is the inclusion of paid work. Historically, students had to volunteer at nonprofits to meet the hours requirement. Now, if you work a job at a grocery store or a restaurant to support your family, those hours count toward your Bright Futures eligibility. This is a massive win for students with lower income backgrounds who didn't have the luxury of unpaid volunteering. The step-by-step detail for Florida students involves the Florida Financial Aid application, which must be completed between October of your senior year and August after you graduate. Missing this single deadline, even if you have a 1600 SAT, means you receive $0. We also see the Midwest Student Exchange Program, serving students in states like Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. Similar to WUE, it caps tuition at 150% of the in-state rate. However, a major trend in 2026 is that some schools are leaving the compact to create their own regional loyalty scholarships. For example, some universities in the Midwest now offer in-state rates for neighbors, where any student from a bordering state automatically qualifies for in-state pricing regardless of their major. This is why you must look at the non-resident scholarship page of every university on your list. The data indicates that regional arbitrage is most effective for students who are academic overmatches for their target schools. If you are a student with a 3.9 GPA applying to a mid-tier regional university 3 states away, that university is likely to offer you their highest possible discount to lure you away from your home state. This is called yield management, and you can use it to your advantage. But there is a final, even more aggressive strategy for 2026: establishing residency. Some students move to a state a year before starting college, work full-time, and establish themselves as independent residents to get the in-state rate. This is a complex legal and financial maneuver that requires careful planning regarding taxes and voter registration. It is not for everyone, but for a student determined to attend a specific expensive flagship university, it can be a life-changing financial move. As we conclude this part of the masterclass, you should realize that your zip code is a tool. Whether it is through a multi-state compact, a specific state merit program, or a niche major loophole, you can find a way to make the numbers work. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that even the smartest students get wrong. It doesn't matter how many scholarships you qualify for if your core application is weak. In the next part, we are going to dive into the scholarship application factory. We will show you how to automate your search using 2026 technology, how to write an essay that works for 50 different applications, and how to track your deadlines so you never miss a dollar. We are going to build the scholarship engine that will do the heavy lifting for you. The machine is ready to be built. Are you ready to turn it on? To build a truly efficient scholarship engine in 2026, you have to stop treating every application like a unique, artisanal project and start treating your search like a high-output production line. Most students fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack a system. They get overwhelmed by a sea of tabs, dead links, and forgotten passwords. We are going to deconstruct the exact workflow used by students who secure 6-figure funding packages, focusing on automation, narrative recycling, and the psychological management of the scholarship funnel. Imagine a student named Leo from Chicago. It is the fall of 2026, and Leo is applying to 15 different universities and 60 separate scholarships. If Leo approaches this manually, he will burn out by mid-October. Instead, Leo builds a scholarship factory. The first step in this factory is the narrative architecture. Most scholarships, regardless of the provider, tend to ask variations of the same 4 questions. Tell us about a challenge you overcame, describe a leadership experience, explain your career goals, and how will this scholarship help you? Instead of writing 60 essays, Leo writes 4 master pillars. These are high-quality, long-form essays of about 1,000 words each. They are polished, peer-reviewed, and contain specific, evocative details. The step-by-step detail for this involves the Lego block method. When Leo opens a new application that asks for a 300-word leadership essay, he doesn't start from scratch. He goes to his master pillar on leadership, selects the most impactful 300 words, and tweaks the first and last sentences to align with the specific organization's mission. This allows him to submit a high-quality application in 20 minutes rather than 4 hours. Historical trends show that students who use a recycled but refined narrative maintain a higher quality of writing across all submissions compared to those who try to write new content for every prompt. The second component of the engine is digital automation. In 2026, there are advanced tools that go beyond simple search engines. Leo uses scholarship aggregators that utilize AI-driven matching algorithms, but he doesn't just trust their default settings. He sets up specialized filters. For example, he filters for awards that were updated within the last 30 days to avoid ghost listings. He also uses browser extensions to autofill repetitive demographic data. This might save only 2 minutes per application, but across 60 applications, that is 2 hours of time reclaimed. However, the real power of the 2026 engine lies in the scholarship tracking matrix. This is a centralized dashboard, usually built in a tool like Notion or a structured spreadsheet. For every scholarship, Leo tracks the deadline, the award amount, the link, the status of his letters of recommendation, and most importantly, the estimated effort versus potential outcome. This is a crucial data point. If a $500 scholarship requires a 10-page research paper, its value per hour is low. If a $10,000 scholarship requires a 2-minute video and a transcript, its value is astronomical. Leo prioritizes his workflow based on this ROI calculation. Let us look at a case study of the letter of recommendation pipeline. This is often the biggest bottleneck in the engine. Leo knows that his teachers are being bombarded with requests in the final months of 2026. To ensure his letters are both timely and high quality, he creates a recommender packet. This is a 1-page PDF he sends to every teacher he asks for a letter. It includes his resume, a list of the specific scholarships he is applying for, and 3 bullet points per scholarship explaining why he is a fit. For example, if he is applying for a scholarship focused on community service, he reminds his teacher about the time he organized the school-wide food drive. By doing the mental labor for his teachers, he ensures that the letters they produce are specific, data-rich, and consistently aligned with his personal brand. Data from 2026 shows that the average high school senior spends approximately 40 hours on their college search and applications. Students who utilize a scholarship engine can often double their output while spending the same amount of time. This is the difference between a student who applies for 5 awards and one who applies for 50. In the scholarship game, volume is a significant predictor of success, provided that the quality of each entry remains high. Now, consider the psychological aspect of the engine, the rejection resilience protocol. If you apply for 50 scholarships, the statistical reality is that you will be rejected by 40 or more of them. Most students stop after their first 3 rejections because it feels like a personal failure. The engine, however, treats rejection as a data point. When Leo receives a rejection, he checks his tracking matrix, marks the status, and moves immediately to the next item on his list. He understands that scholarship selection is often subjective, and that a no from one committee has no bearing on his yes from another. Case studies of multi-award winners show that they often have rejection folders, twice as thick as their acceptance folders. Another advanced tactic for 2026 is the search string strategy. Leo doesn't just use sites like Fastweb or scholarships.com. He uses advanced Google search operators to find PDF applications that are hosted on university or nonprofit servers, but aren't indexed on major aggregators. By searching for things like Scholarship Application 2026 file type, PDF combined with his specific interests, he finds orphaned awards. These are often small, local, or specialized scholarships that have very low competition because they aren't easy to find. Finding just 2 of these $5,000 awards can change the entire financial trajectory of his freshman year. Step by step, the maintenance of the engine looks like this. Every Sunday at 7 p.m., Leo spends 1 hour on search and sort. He finds 5 new scholarships and adds them to the matrix. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he has a drafting sprint, where he uses his Lego block method to complete 2 applications. On Saturday, he does a final review and submit. This rhythm prevents the all-nighter panic that leads to typos and missed deadlines. The consistency of the engine is what leads to the potential outcomes of a funded education. We also have to discuss the digital hygiene of your engine. In 2026, scholarship committees are increasingly using automated tools to scan an applicant's social media presence. Part of building your engine is a social audit. Leo goes through his profiles and ensures that his public-facing persona is professional. He doesn't delete his personality, but he ensures that his digital footprint reinforces the narrative he is telling in his essays. If he claims to be a leader in environmental science, his LinkedIn or professional Instagram should show him participating in science fairs or local cleanups. This is narrative verification, and it is a critical step in the final review process. The step-by-step details for this audit involve using a private browser to search for your own name and looking at the Images tab. If there is anything that contradicts your scholarship brand, you need to address it before you hit Submit on a high-value award. In 2026, your online reputation is part of your application. As your engine begins to hum and the applications start flying out, you will notice a shift. You are no longer stressed about the if of college funding. You are focused on the how. You have built a machine that works for you even when you are sleeping. But even with the most powerful engine in the world, there is one final ultimate hurdle. What happens when the money actually arrives? How do you manage the scholarship tax? How do you ensure that your university doesn't reduce your financial aid just because you won outside money? In the final part of this masterclass, we are going to dive into the scholarship management and sustainability phase. We will reveal the secret of award displacement and how to fight it. We will show you how to manage your scholarship money so it lasts all 4 years, and how to keep winning even after you are already on campus. The journey doesn't end when you get the check. That is just where the next game begins. Are you ready to cross the finish line and secure your legacy? The final secrets are waiting. The arrival of a scholarship check is often viewed as the finish line, but in the professional landscape of college finance in 2026, it is actually the start of the most critical phase: scholarship management and the battle against award displacement. You have done the hard work of building the engine, recycling your narratives, and targeting the prestige awards, but if you do not understand how to protect that money, your university might unintentionally take it away from you. This final part of our masterclass is dedicated to ensuring that every dollar you earn stays in your pocket and continues to grow throughout your entire undergraduate career. Imagine a student named Maya from Chicago in this current year of 2026. Maya is a high achiever who secured a $15,000 merit scholarship from her university and then went out and won an additional $5,000 private scholarship from a local foundation. She expects her total aid to increase to $20,000. However, when her final bill arrives, she notices something shocking. The university reduced her institutional grant by exactly $5,000. Her total out-of-pocket cost remained the same despite her hard work. This is the phenomenon known as award displacement, and it is a systemic issue that affects thousands of students every year. Historical trends show that many universities have policies where they use outside scholarships to fill the gap of the student's calculated financial need before they reduce the student's expected family contribution. In Maya's case, the university viewed her private scholarship as a resource that lowered her need, allowing them to redirect their own institutional funds to another student. To fight this, Maya needs to utilize the anti-displacement strategy. The first step is to research the specific financial aid policies of your target schools before you even enroll. Some states, such as Maryland, New Jersey, and Washington, have passed legislation that significantly limits or bans award displacement at public institutions. In 2026, checking if your state has these protections is the first line of defense. If you are in a state without these laws, the step-by-step detail for Maya involves a proactive conversation with the financial aid office. She should send a formal request asking that her private scholarship be applied first to her unmet need, the gap between the cost of attendance and her total aid, and then to her student loans or work-study requirements. Most universities are more willing to reduce your loan burden than they are to let you stack cash on top of a full ride. But reducing loans is still a massive win. The potential outcomes of this negotiation can save you from 4 years of interest-bearing debt that would have otherwise been replaced by your hard-earned scholarship money. Beyond displacement, we must address the scholarship tax. Many students are unaware that in the United States, Scholarship money is only tax-free if it is used for qualified education expenses. In 2026, this typically includes tuition, fees, books, and required equipment. However, if Maya uses her scholarship money to pay for room and board or travel expenses, that portion of the award is considered taxable income by the IRS. The step-by-step detail for managing this involves rigorous record-keeping. Maya must save every receipt for every textbook, laptop, or lab fee. When tax season arrives, she will need to distinguish between the qualified and non-qualified portions of her funding. Historical trends show that students who fail to plan for this can end up with a surprise tax bill in April, effectively reducing the value of their scholarship by 15 to 20%. Now let's talk about the concept of the renewable retention strategy. Many of the top scholarships we have discussed in this series are renewable for 4 years, but they come with maintenance clauses. In 2026, these clauses are stricter than ever. A scholarship might require a 3.25 GPA, but it might also require you to remain in a specific major or complete 30 credit hours per academic year. If Maya decides to change her major from engineering to English in her sophomore year, she might inadvertently trigger a cancellation clause. The strategy here is to create a scholarship contract for yourself. For every award you win, list the specific renewal requirements in your scholarship tracking matrix. Check this list before every course registration and every time you consider dropping a class. Losing a $20,000 renewable scholarship because you finished the year with 29 credits instead of 30 is a financial disaster that is entirely preventable with proper data management. But the most exciting part of 2026 is that the scholarship hunt does not stop just because you are in college. We call this the upperclassman gold mine. Most students stop looking for money once they finish high school, but there are thousands of awards specifically reserved for sophomores, juniors, and seniors already enrolled in their majors. Case studies of successful students show that they often win more money during their college years than they did in high school because they have proven performance. Maya can now point to her college GPA, her involvement in campus research, and her leadership in university clubs as evidence of her value. The step-by-step detail for the upperclassman goldmine involves the internal departmental search. Every February, Maya should visit the office of the dean of her college and ask about endowed departmental scholarships. These are often small $500 to $2,000 awards that are given out based on faculty recommendations. If Maya has built a strong relationship with her professors, she is in a prime position to be nominated. Furthermore, national organizations like the Goldwater Scholarship for STEM or the Truman Scholarship for Public Service are only available to college juniors. These are some of the most prestigious awards in the country, providing up to $30,000 for graduate school. By maintaining the scholarship engine she built in high school, Maya can transition from undergraduate funding to graduate funding without a break in her financial momentum. We also have to discuss scholarship sustainability. What do you do if you have more money than you need for tuition? In 2026, some highly successful students find themselves in a refund situation. This is where the total scholarship amount exceeds the university's charges, and the school issues a check to the student for the remainder. The professional advice here is to treat this refund as a career launch fund. Rather than spending it on lifestyle upgrades, Maya should set this aside in a high-yield savings account to cover the hidden costs of her career, internship relocation, professional attire, or certification exams. The potential outcomes of this level of financial discipline are a debt-free degree and a 5-figure head start on her professional life. Finally, we must address the legacy of the scholar. In 2026, many of the high-value scholarship providers are looking for more than just students. They are looking for ambassadors. If you have won a major award like the Coca-Cola or Gates Scholarship, your responsibility is to give back to the community of scholars. This is not just a moral obligation, it is a strategic one. By mentoring younger students and staying active in the alumni network, you maintain access to internal job boards and venture capital circles that are exclusive to that scholarship family. Your scholarship is a credential that follows you forever. It is the first line of your resume even 10 years after you graduate. The journey from a senior with tuition anxiety to a funded scholar is one of the most transformative experiences you can have. We have covered the prestige awards, the no-essay loopholes, the institutional matrix, the geographic arbitrage, and the engine of automation. You now have the blueprints to a multi-billion-dollar ecosystem. The only thing left is the execution. The year 2026 will be the most competitive year for college admissions in history, but with these strategies, You are no longer competing with the crowd. You are leading it. As you close this masterclass, remember that the free money isn't free. It is earned through strategy, persistence, and the willingness to do the work that others find too tedious. You have the tools. You have the data. You have the roadmap. It is time to go out there and secure the funding that will define your future. While you are setting up your scholarship engine, there is one more critical document you need to master. In our upcoming series, we are going to do a deep dive into the 2027 FAFSA and CSS profile updates. We will show you the specific asset protection strategies that can legally increase your eligibility for need-based aid, regardless of your income bracket. The financial aid game is about to change again, and we will be there to make sure you are ready. Your education is the most important investment you will ever make. Make sure you don't pay more for it than you have to. We'll see you in the next masterclass.